just bear with me. I have my glue pot plugged in, should be ready to go. When I design, I do use a glue skillet versus a glue gun. It's easier for me to do. So what we're gonna do today is I'm gonna get set up and I'm gonna show you how I made this simple but elegant fern swag. Now I'm gonna start off with the basics. This is just greenery. Once I do a few videos on just the basics, we'll get into the florals and maybe adding some pumpkins and some of the other things that you can do with this fixture. But right now I'm gonna set the swag aside, so just bear with me. I did a previous video on how to prep your SwagForm. Make sure you go back and at least watch it, because you'll want to secure your SwagForm with some wire or some waterproof tape. So for this bush, I am going to rip off the stems. There's no need for me to cut the stems because this is a paper wrapped bush. So I'm just gonna tear them off one by one. And I'm gonna do about 6 of these bushes. So these bushes run me about $6 a piece. So if you do, 6 bushes, it's like 36 bucks, right? Depending on how, full you want yours to be, you might want to do a couple more. Same thing with the length. If you want it longer, you might want to buy a couple more. So most of your bushes, you're not going to be ripping them off like this. You're going to be cutting them with wire cutters. But speaking of wire cutters, I use Nip-X. I got them from Menards. I think it's Menards. Menards carries them. Nip-X are very strong. They're heavy duty. I've had mine for years. Actually, my one pair has gotten a little bit squeaky. I just think it's from overuse, but I do recommend the Nip-X because I don't have any issue cutting through some of the thicker stems. And we all know, well, anybody who uses artificial floral regularly, you know that the wire cutters tend to dull real easy. The Nip-X are also, they're really, really easy on my hands. They look like this. At first, it took me a minute to get used to them, but I don't have that same, for some reason, I don't have a hard time squeezing the handle. They kind of just cut right through, really easy. This bush was giving me a little bit of trouble. Didn't want to rip. Must have been a little bit of glue on it. So I'm just gonna do a couple more. It's really a nice day outside, so I thought I'm gonna try to film outside, get everything prepped. I just have to catch my footing with the tutorials. I'm not used to filming myself, so I have to get used to the placement, the lighting, what's best, but I'll get there. And I've got a lot to teach. I've been doing this for 20 some years. I started off at Packetans, and I don't know if you know what that is. Some of you may, some of you may not, but Pat Catan's was one of my favorite stores to go to. They had such nice florals, and it was one of the first times that I was introduced to even the Real Touch, and I was fascinated by them and how lifelike they looked. And that's the one thing about designing these. You're going to be able to create more natural, comes from nature designs. And, you know, there are a lot of beautiful wreath creators out there and swag creators, but they use a lot of mesh, and I am just not a fan. For some reason, I get pulled towards, you know, the more lifelike. There's just a natural beauty to it. But so I was telling you about, I'm gonna go ahead and do one more. I was telling you about Pat Catan's. I originally had started off there as a cashier, and I hated being a cashier. It made my day so long and so boring, and I moved up at Pat Catan's fairly quickly. I never had any designing experience, but I've always created. I've always created since a very young age. It was something that just came natural. And my boss took a chance on me, and he let me apply for the floral design position, and I got it, and it's just been great ever since. It just was my favorite job I've ever had. It's a shame that they closed. So I've got my bushes prepped. What I'm gonna go ahead and do is just pause this for right now. I'm gonna go inside, grab a water, and then I'll come back out and start recording again. And we'll get into exactly how you want to make your swag, okay? So give me a second, I'll be right back.